Hello, Warriors. Let's all be in our peak performance state this week. Okay. It's going to be a wild week. Hi, Paul. Richard, how are you? Fearlessly, AJ. Hi, Ryan, Sinatra, Marlon. Marlon, if you're new to F.A.C.E, welcome to our community. Hi, Laura. Okay, I think I hear Ryan in the background. Is that you, Ryan?
Yeah. PPS, okay, mate. PPS.
What's that?
PPS, peak performance state.
Oh, yeah. That's what, athletes have to be that way. I actually think that we have to be that way. That means taking care of yourself, etc. Do what I say, not what I do. Okay, well, so
this is a profession, isn't it? This isn't a pastime; it's a profession.
And you have to really be, unless you have a automatic system. If you're a discretionary trader, you have to be clear. Okay, so it's clear that the yen made new highs. Anyone, yep. Anyone checking rates over there?
Not yet. We did have Suzuki actually potentially looking at a chart for a change, but the big news really was the old currency diplomat, one of the main men there, Kanda, had to resign because his companies weren't paying tax or something.
Oh, yeah,
he's one of the big wigs who decides whether to push the button or not.
Oh, wow. Okay, so scandal everywhere.
Yeah.
Blake has interviewed Jim Rickards before, and I had him here once. And here's Jim's take for the 2024 election. Biden will not run. He'll step down. It'll be the governor of California, who's my own governor, and I can't remember his name right now.
Newsom.
Yeah. Okay. So he's going to be the candidate. And then because of some of the other candidates running as independents, they're going to split the vote from him, and Trump will win, and he'll be in jail when he wins. That's Jim Rickards. All right. Ex-CIA guy, whatever. So I thought I just, would share that Twilight Zone episode with the crowd.
10 years ago, 10 years ago, you'd laugh at that as being unbelievable. This nowadays, you think, yeah, it's probably possible.
Yeah, it's probably the consensus trait. There's nothing really that we can't conceive happening right now. I think the question mark maybe for the next 6 weeks is the dollar. And, the weekly and the dollar didn't respond like the yen, but I still think it will. I keep looking at this euro, and I still think it has lower numbers in it. I know that you're long. Where would you throw in the towel?
I would throw in the towel 106.25 because that's where my trailing stop is.
Well, how interesting that is, because that's a moving average on the daily. 106.20 is your 50-day. So, the flag that Blake had, it still looks like a flag. I think you could sell any rip, and that we're probably going lower there. And that should take the Dixie up to 109. And you just do an arithmetic thing here. And really, it's been in a range, we've been on both sides of it, but pretty much 107, 105, right? So, we break out over 107 and you tack on that range. What do you get? 109. So, I'm going to be patient for trading the top in the dollar, and think there's one more shoe to drop. It was right to, what's that?
Might be tomorrow with the CPI data.
Okay, so that's a big number this week. So CPI, I started talking about silver last week, saying it was acting ugly. Really never did that much. You know, they tried a little short squeeze up here. And I know that, you know, Greg is bullish, but I say because of this, that we had confirmed lows on the daily before this bounce, that silver's going to retest and take out this low 2065, and that'll complete another pattern, Elliott pattern down there. So I'm still looking for a washout. It would tie in, wouldn't it? One more high in the dollar, one more sell-off in the metals, gold. Where's gold going to be? No one thinks it could retest these lows. Nobody. And I have a hard time after this kind of rally thinking it could do that. I think silver could do it. So what do I do about gold? So when, do I buy it based on a fib, or should I just wait for the silver to play out and see where gold is at? Should silver wash out under that 2060 low? So, when you know one market, you have a clearer technical picture and more conviction about one market. You don't have to know what the related markets are doing, because you could use that as a guideline for where you might want to do something in, another precious metal. So that's where I'm at on gold and silver. We've had a little bounce in energy, but I'm not that impressed. I think it has to recapture $80. So Blake called out these levels for it to hold, and it's doing that. So to me, I think I would sell rips up if it got up to 80. And then the Moody's downgrade, I don't know what kind of effect it's going to have. It certainly doesn't seem to be having an effect on the 10-year. Yields aren't higher. So is Kman here?
Hi, Dale.
Oh,
Everybody.
okay. All right, Kman. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So what's your, your view or your narrative with yen making new highs and the yields not even close to new highs?
No,
have you been thinking about that?
Yeah, it's just the fact that the intervention stays away. It's the fact that JGB yields can not yet rally really to the 1%. Then we have that Canada resignation. Not sure who is going to come in his place. Suzuki was seemed a bit lost when he was making his comments today, and I think whether it's a test or whether it's just still people always trying to find tops in the dollar yen or in any yen cross, and then having to buy back. It's just that for now. I must say that with everything waiting for us this week, with this US CPI, US retail sales, I think we have Japanese stuff out next night as well. But I don't want to have any cash in position, and I did buy a little bit of downside on the dollar yen, just 1 week, a cheap one and a cheeky one, just in case, the market pushes it too far, too fast over the course of the week. But it's, as I said over many shows now already, it's so tough it's so hard to pay the top, but it's just going to continue to grind higher in some way because of those yield differentials, because of the stimulus plans. Everything is so. It's tough to actually trade the yen right now on cash positions, unless we go up to perhaps 153 or so in really, really fast. And then the other thing that I wanted to say is that I kind of agree with you in gold. I don't think we are going to go and see fresh lows, but assuming that a fair part of this rally was due to the situation in the Middle East, we have seen that markets, regardless what's happening on the ground, but markets have for now at least,
Yeah, what's
made up
happening
their
on the
mind and
ground
say, sorry?
what's happening on the ground is a tragedy, but markets don't care about that.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's we who have been so long in those markets, we have seen it so often. You know, you have the immediate reaction, which happened in oil, which happened in gold, in the metals, like a bit of large safe haven buying, also helped by China apparently. But once those bids go out of the market finds itself long and then sanguine. And I'm
like
not sure whether we can go
this.
back.
Here's a great example of what Kman's talking about. So here's Ukraine war. Okay, we had made the high and then came back, and then we had the invasion, and that was it. So
Exactly.
yeah, that's a real classic example. And
Yeah, and
and
that's
a
how
lot
we
of
have.
markets. Go ahead. I'm
And
sorry.
that's how we have been trading those war situations and stuff for so many years. The thing is now, since I have the impression that money right now, and that's still, I think, a result of the pandemic, or perhaps more electronification of our markets, but the markets are reacting much faster than what we used to do. We used to have a period. Gold would never have lost $70 from the highs when the situation is still on the ground, actually worsening. But markets now are much faster to get in and out again of positions, right? So I do think there's a bit more to come to gold. I'm looking at around 1900 perhaps.
Okay, 1900.
Yeah,
And just
I've got decent demand down there. And you're on the speaks just before I and then afterwards I'll shut up. I think we're in an important zone here, anywhere between 44.10 and 44.50-ish. Stretch it to 60. That's a very important zone for me. This 50 points here. It's a bit of a make or break zone on the S&P for me.
oh, okay, S&Ps, yeah.
Yeah,
All
on
right.
the
So
S&P.
yeah, all right. So yeah, get some divergence developed Friday. Under 70. Kind of a rising wedge here. Yeah, I think that if you're bullish, I think you should at least wait for some kind of pullback, maybe back to
Yeah.
these moving averages or something.
Yeah.
And if you're bearish, you want them to be taken out.
Well, I'd say ideally you take out this 43, 10, 15. I'm looking at a slightly different picture of yours, but I have like another couple of levels there: 43, 30, 33, and then 44. Sorry,
oh yeah,
30, 33, and then 44, 60. Ideally, if you're bearish, you go and stop out all the weak shorts up into that zone, and then turn around. That's kind of how I look at it right now.
okay. VIX, people are buying protection before the opening so far, holding this 14 level, which is 78.6 back. I mean, forget the chart. Do you think with everything that we're seeing happening in our markets with bonds and the Fed and banks and then geo stuff that the VIX should be at 14? That's like everything's okay, isn't it?
Yeah, but it is at 14 coming through all that.
Yeah.
That's a strange. This is one of those times when you think, yeah, it should be trading 18, 19s, but it's not. So what are you going to do? You're going to be long and sit in a slowly losing position while you're waiting for 18, or you're going to go?
It's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
I do it with you guys trade options. You know what decay is.
Yeah,
and I'm not talking about the dentist. Okay, I'm talking about other kind, not the dental decay, monetary decay. All right. So, anything else you guys have in mind coming into this week? Aussie.
Yeah, it's going to be heavily data dependent. There's lots of good data. US CPI, PPI, retail sales, UK jobs, UK CPI, Eurozone CPI, UK retails, housing data. It's
Government shutdown.
Government shutdown. Yep.
Government shutdown.
That'll overshadow all the stats, I think, if it happens. And doesn't it look like it is, Blake?
I don't know. There's some laddered, type of funding. Yeah, I'm really hesitant to believe that this is what's going to get passed. But I mean, I think headlines are going to be coming hot and heavy today, and that's what we're going to end up watching, unfortunately, on this Monday as we wait for the CPI and PPI data over the next couple of days. So, and Ryan's right. We got a lot of UK data coming out this week. So,
do you guys? I was looking at this as a possible short. I didn't do anything yet, and I feel a little late, but it certainly is having trouble up here.
It's a 50% retracement. Yeah,
and this is the first bad day off it. I mean, we had this, and then it recovered, and short with stops over the highs here. That maybe we're going to correct this whole advance. While euro, what I'd like to see, a 102 euro and the euro pound not make new lows. That would be a pretty good market tell to me. Yeah. So anyway, any view on euro pound? I know you guys came in and trades it. You traded. Blake.
It's another fail. It's looking like another fail at 87.20ish, 15.20. It just can't get a hold above it. Decent double top potentially forming there, so you might get a move down to 86.5 again. I still favor the long side, but you got to be a bit cautious.
This was a great level. Now that I pull a weekly up and look left, I understand why it's having problems here.
Yeah,
so
bit of a traffic jam. Traffic zone.
And the two spikes have been done into a fixing as well, so it looks a bit unreal moves. You know what I mean? Not like driven by fundamentals. Also, those spikes around 87.5. But
like Algo's going for stops and stuff up there.
So no, just having to execute some flows on fixings, and that's it. Sterling is actually pretty strong today. If you look at it across the board, it is acting very strong.
Yeah, and Euro look. That's why I think EG is giving us the right message that if you want to be long the dollar and you choose between Euro and cable, that Euro's your preferred short.
Mm-hmm.
Not cable.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree.
All right, Blake. So for people that didn't watch your week ahead video, which I know you give a lot away there. What are you thinking for this week?
Well, good morning, guys. Good morning, everybody. I hope you guys all had a great weekend. Ryan, you were mentioning in the chat room, and real quick, I just wanted to ask this question. You were just mentioning in the chat room that you were traveling somewhere in the UK and things were hopping, and you don't get where people are anticipating more of a slowdown, right?
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's looking for a slowdown, and I was around a local town, and it was absolutely heaving. Yeah, it was just, and not just people walking around,
too, bro.
People with shopping bags and eating in restaurants and stuff. It was like the week before Christmas.
Yeah. Wow. That's I mean, it seems like that way. Like, it's funny. I was talking to one of my buddies. He just opened a bar this week, and I actually tweeted out a picture of myself and him. He had his grand opening actually Friday night, and we were talking about like a possible recession, just because he's opening. He dumped several $100,000 into this bar. And I'm like, aren't you worried a little bit about, people kind of pulling back spending? Because he has another bar as well. And he's like, no one, it's not affecting anybody where I live. It's like people just spend money and, like, I don't know where they all get it, but they just continue to spend. So yeah, it's kind of one of those.
And if there is a recession, Blake, from in the 30s, bar was still a good business to have.
Oh yeah, people always drink.
Yeah,
I mean, look
even
at Ryan.
more.
I mean, he's always sad and he drinks all the time.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Ryan. You're here, right? Just kidding. I'm joking, but no, that's kind of a recession-proof business. But yeah, as far as people are out and about spending money, it just seems pretty normal. Maybe I live in a different part of the country than a lot of people, and maybe you guys do too, where you live, and it's amazing. But hey, we were talking about this week. We also have Biden and Xi are meeting this week, and they're supposed to try to bring down tensions between the US and China. Obviously there's a lot of tensions going around, and I think that that meeting could really produce some headlines in the middle of the week. Really, they can move the market. I don't think that the US dollar CNH is going to be the pair to be watching, but maybe it is. I don't know. What do you guys think about this two powerhouse countries meeting? President Biden, hopefully he'll even find his way there, but what do you guys think? Any views there, Ryan? Kman?
We're probably going to get the usual platitudes. We should work together closer and do this and do that, and it might be good for some risk headlines. But as we've seen previously, you get those little things happening. Everyone thinks everything's fine and dandy. 2 minutes later, someone pops up from the US government to say they're slapping more sanctions on chips or doing something, restrictions,
or repossessing panda bears.
Yeah. Or
I wouldn't talk to him
or something
unless he has a panda walking behind him into the Oval Office. I wouldn't talk to him.
Okay, man, what are your thoughts? Anything big that could develop out of this meeting with these two countries this week?
We'll already get the military talking to each other again, which communication was cut. Would already be a result. Not saying that it will resolve much, but it's a result. Those two are talking. So and actually, in combination with all those bad data that we had, but at the same time, PBOC being very, very adamant in not letting the Chinese yuan weaken too much further. I don't know if I might be looking at the other side. If dollar China goes back up to 32, 33, 34, perhaps give it a try to the other side for once instead of selling
putting it on the long side. I don't know. I think that they've got to try to smooth things over, especially with everything that's happening in the Middle East and with Russia and Ukraine. I think it's important, to keep world order, if you will. So it's going to be so hopefully some positive headlines that we get out of that meeting.
I heard some analysis and by some China watchers, and the topic that Kman brought up, having communication with the military, that China's not going to go for it. They may want to do some some military workshops together, but nothing. He's not going to it's going to keep that communication cut.
No, well, it's not going to produce any big results either, because we can see what the US wants to do, right? Because there's those tensions everywhere, and then there's the Taiwan situation as well, and that Taiwan situation doesn't seem to be improving at all. So it all depends what Xi wants to do.
China has more reason to come to the table than the US does, and you've only got to look at their export trade figures to know that. Down 6% here, 6% there. The exports are in the gutter at the moment, China, and we know there's a lot of the globe, looking towards their own economies and decoupling from China. That's a big reason why China will come to the table.
All right. Well,
maybe you could pull up the F.A.C.E, Blake, compared to the rally we had here in the States. You'll see that this was kind of anemic.
Yeah, Chinese markets look like. Here's the. I know Hong Kong is not China necessarily. Here's like the China 50. They really are underperforming, but
but that's the thing. It always there's been a lot of money flowing out of China over the past year or a year and a half, let's say. But that's the thing about markets. They always look the lousiest at the bottom and most bid at the top. So
Correct.
is it going to get worse, or have we seen the bottom? That's really the question that we should ask ourselves. Because you can only trade lousy data until a certain point, and if I've read some stuff about investors, they are not yet pushing the buttons, but they are seemingly starting to get ready to perhaps move back a bit more into China, and a meeting like this week could be some kind of a small trigger to do so.
Yeah, it could be the catalyst. Yeah, you're right. Hey, you know, we also have just so you guys know, we have some pretty big earnings this week, and it's not like big name companies. I mean, well, it is here in the US, but not necessarily like we have Apple reporting earnings or any of the big, you know, market cap names. But we do have, I mean, we do have some big market cap names. Like tomorrow, we have Home Depot. Now, I don't necessarily care about, you know, trading Home Depot, but I'm more interested in what they say, because we have a lot of retailers like TJ Maxx, and if you're not familiar with it because you don't live here in the US or you don't have TJ Maxx, Ross stores, those are like discount retailers. You know, and then you have Home Depot, like I said, that's tomorrow. A lot of retail names are reporting this week, and the reason why that's important, because you want to see what the trends are. You know, are people spending more, you know, on remodeling? Has this spending tailed off? You know, when you look at TJ Maxx, when you see TJ Maxx and discount retailers like really
looks good.
Yeah, you know, just break out, you know, because of earnings, you know that you're on the, you know, heels of a potential recession, you know, when you see companies like this really strong. So I think that the earnings are going to be kind of important this week, just to kind of measure the breadth of the US consumer. So just keep an eye on some of those names and some of those headlines. We do have a couple technology companies that are reporting, I think Cisco and Applied Materials. But anyway, just a little heads up there. So we got
the up, Blake. I think it held that level you were talking about
on what
Friday.
I'm sorry,
USD NOK.
Oh yeah, you know, we're sitting here now. The USD Norwegian krona, as you can see here, is holding that big level. I'm really worried about it if it drops below 11. You know, we had this conversation with Kman, you know, last week. He'd mentioned that you know, Norway's, you know, constantly, you know, selling the crown or krona, and you know, it's kept it on its heels here. But inflation data did come out pretty hot last week, so I'm going to be really concerned if it drops below 11. Well, let me rephrase that. I'll be adding to my short position, because I've been short since last week, and it's small, but you know, I'm looking for more of a momentum trade back down to the 200 DMA. So yeah, I mean, we're holding up, and you know, if it breaks above 1130, you just can't be short anymore. But yeah, so we got that. I mean, you look at the euro's at the 50 DMA today. I mean, or close to. It's not too far away. You know, it's 50 DMA is going to be a little bit lower, maybe around 106 and a quarter. Sterling's holding up well. Sterling looks good. I know you guys talked about it a little bit earlier, but we have a bunch of data, and then the euro sterling, big reversal here, nice double top, setting up at the 50% retracement, breaking through this channel. We you know, pushed that update out this morning that you have to be careful if it you know, drops below you know, 87.15, which we're doing now. You can see how it broke through that support. So yeah, I mean, the sterling looks pretty good. What's the UK data that's coming out this week that you guys are most focused on? What would you say, Ryan?
CPI and then retail sales.
Yeah, and as you're pointing out, retail sales, it seems that UK is, you know, people are out there spending, but we get that data Friday morning, and then CPI comes out what, Wednesday morning?
Wednesday, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do we do between now and then?
Trade US CPI.
Well, hey, we do have we do have jobs data tomorrow, like your claimant count change, right?
Yeah, that's all over the place again. I don't know what they're doing our mob with the data. It's all coming out in bits and pieces again. But yeah, we got some decent China data out as well, Japanese GDP. So yeah, there's going to be lots to trade.
All right. Well, I guess and Dale, do you have an interview today?
No.
Okay, you do not. Okay, so looking at, I guess we'll take a real quick at yields, just because I think we should. It is going to be one of the predominant drivers of the market right now. How do you guys feel? And we'll wrap it up after this. How do you guys feel about the bond market? Kman, where do you think U.S. yields are going?
Okay, I was talking about it on the Flow Show as well. You just look at the 10-year, right? Just as an example, really, of because that's what the people probably look at the most.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of the zone, in my opinion. On the 10-year, we're below. We've tried to get down to that 450,
Which would be right here.
Yeah, we tried to get down to the 450, held. It's around where we held last time as well, where the springboard was to get up to 5%. And then on the other side, there's a bit of, there should be resistance around 480. So we're bang in the middle of that. So I think if you break below 4.5, you do at least another 15, 20 BPs down to that thick blue line. And when if we break back above 480 this week, that would be in a week without bond or note issuances. That would be significant, I think, as well. And then we should be trading back at 5% pretty rapidly. That's how I look at how the events should influence those yields. There's a couple of others to look at as well, but just to keep it simple on the tens,
So just remember, guys, what Kman's saying here, just that this is 450 or 445.
Yeah, well,
if you look at the actual 10-year,
exactly.
This is the really, really critical, right? That level is obviously very big. So just watch that. If it breaks, then you're gonna get a little bit of a short squeeze in
there should be more to go if that goes. Yeah,
I would 100% agree. Ryan, you have any views on the yields and the bond market this week?
No, exactly the same what you've been saying. Yeah, for me, 450, 470. See what it does from there on.
Yeah, here's just so you guys can get a view of the 30-year. This is been a very, very big pivot since back in 2001. I mean, it goes all the way back. It's just a big, big level that we're just pivoting around.
What were you doing then?
In 2001, I was let's see, that was November of 01, right after September 11th. Oh, that's about when I had to pay Penson Securities about $350,000 actually.
Oh,
yeah.
So that's glad to bring you back to some nice memories.
Yeah, thanks. My our broker that we own, the brokerage firm, our Series 4 decided he wanted to trade some shit without us knowing about it during September 11th, and then all of us partners got to cough up a lot of money when everything gapped down 3 days later. So yeah, that was I think my take was $350,000 that I had to pay out. That was fun.
That's a big hit. Yeah.
Thanks, Dale.
All right.
Hey, anyway, do you want to pull the knife out of my back? Or you done with that?
For all I knew, it could have been, a wonderful year for you. How about you, Ryan? What were you doing then?
I was combing my hair.
Oh, you had hair. You had hair. That's awesome.
Hey, man, where were you in 2001, buddy?
Oh, I was market making dollar yen, mate, in one of the big banks.
Okay, good memory, right?
Dale, what were you doing? No one asked you.
I can't remember.
My code.
That's why I wanted to, you guys can still remember. That's why everyone else's memories are mine now, because I can't remember. So
awesome.
Anyway, guys, good show. It's going to be a great week with all the news, and it's like sitting on pins and needles waiting for this stuff,
Seriously.
So,
yeah.
Good luck. Hey, everyone, surround yourself with traders better than you. That's what I did 6 years ago. Okay, so I don't care where you do it, but find people that are better than you so you come up to their level. Instead of being intimidated, consider it an opportunity to learn. And don't just count your pips, count your blessings. And we'll see you all tomorrow.
Sounds
Thanks,
great.
team.
Thanks, Dale.
Thanks, Gay.
Cheers,
Thanks,
Thank
Ryan.
you. Have a
Send
good
us
day. Good
post a
week.
picture of you combing your hair.
Oh yeah, I'd love to
would-
see that one, Ryan.
All right,
I'd love to
and,
see Ryan in hair and an Iron Maiden shirt.
Shalom.
Oh, I've
Amira.
got to do both. Yeah, definitely.
All right, everyone. Good hunting today. We'll see you for turnaround Tuesday. Adios.
Yeah.